have to do news or anything. We might do this month in video game history at the end, but honestly, I just want to talk about movies.
Yeah, I'm good with whatever.
All right. I don't have any tabs to open because we're not doing news, so it's always weird
Stream
doing
stream
news.
sounds good on my
Okay,
end.
good. All right. I got everything good to go. I'm good to go if you are.
Yeah, I reckon so.
All right. Let me put this up there. And then here we go. In three, two, one.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the Horathon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween.
Happy Halloween, kids. We're here at the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
And Joey in the chat room says, way to lose viewers right at the start with this song.
We love our fans, but we love our haters even more.
Man, I love that song. I don't know. It's just...
Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, happy Halloween, everybody. I know it's a little early in the month, but yeah, it's our Halloween episode here on the Nerd Cave Retro Show, and we're doing something a little bit different this year. We are doing our top 5 spooky movies, so we're not doing video games this week. How do you feel about that, Derek?
I mean, I do a podcast about making movies, so I'm not going to complain at all. And the top 5s are probably my favorite thing to do on this show. So you throw in 2 things I love, I'm not complaining whatsoever.
So have you started your Halloween watches yet of your movies?
I have. We started on October 1st, and I've missed a day or two just because of, a lot of stuff that's kind of going on, not just with my work, but outside of it. But I've been trying to watch at least one horror thing a day.
Yeah, same here. It does tend to get a little hectic and busy this time of the year, so it's hard to really, sit down and watch a whole movie. Sometimes it takes me a few days. One of the things I did want to say that I watched a movie the other night. If you like found footage movies, we watched one on Netflix called As Above, So Below that we watched the other night, and I really liked it. I don't think Angelina liked it, but I really liked it because it kind of had a backrooms vibe to it.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
It's pretty good. It's if you like found footage type stuff, it's pretty good.
It's not as jerky as Cloverfield, is it?
No, not nearly.
Okay, good.
So it's all about the catacombs in under Paris. So if you're into that type of stuff, it's up your alley.
Yeah, it's interesting because a couple of weeks ago at one of the football games I worked, one of the handheld camera on the sideline had kind of a jerky feel to it. And when we were in commercial, felt like I was watching Cloverfield when that happened.
I like
Love
Cloverfield, but yeah, that's a little too herky jerky for me sometimes.
Love the concept of it, but especially there towards the end, it got a little too much with the
Yeah.
jerkiness, in my opinion. The sequel, I don't know if you ever saw 10 Cloverfield Lane with John Goodman.
Yeah, I saw it.
I actually quite enjoyed that movie. It was some of John Goodman's best acting I think I've ever seen him do.
Yeah. I like that movie. I need to watch that again sometime here soon.
Yeah, I've watched it. I saw it in the theater, and I've seen it, I think, once or twice since it's, been available to stream or whether it's on DVD.
Yeah. Another thing we watched last night was there's the Fat Albert Halloween special is on YouTube. That's what we watched last night.
I didn't know there was a Fat Albert Halloween special.
Yeah, it was back in like 79, and it was complete with commercials and everything, like old Kellogg's commercials. It was awesome.
Oh, that's great.
No problem, Joe. He said thanks for getting the Silver Shamrock jingle stuck in his head.
That's why we're here.
Yep, that's why we're here,
You know what-
everybody. Thank you. You're welcome.
Speaking of Halloween specials, I can't believe this, but you know about like all the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror specials that they've done every year for the longest time.
Yeah.
Family Guy has never done a Halloween special until this year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I read about that and I'm like, as long as that show's been around, you guys have never done a Halloween special. But then I got to thinking and like, yeah, you're right. There's never,
Wow.
you know, there's never been one.
I didn't even think
I
about
love
that.
the Family Guy Star Wars specials.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what the Halloween one's like.
Bob's Burgers does a Halloween special every year. And if you have Hulu, you can just go to the Huluween tab and there's a thing on there where it just shows every single Halloween episode of different TV shows. So it'll have all the Halloween episodes up there for like Bob's Burgers and things like that.
I love that.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's awesome.
You don't want to be searching through, like search by name. Like I know it's not that difficult, but it's good to have, especially because Halloween I feel like has become more popular every year that it comes up.
Yeah.
That it's good to have. Like I know on Peacock they have a Halloween tab where all their specials that they have, or whether it's movies, specials, or episodes of a specific show,
Yeah.
are all in one section.
And Disney does too. On Disney Plus, they have every year they'll do a Halloween tab where you go in there and if you're like me and you have the Hulu Disney bundle, they put everything under the Disney app now. So I went under the Halloween tab last night and everything from like Hulu and Disney Plus was under one tab. So I was like, this is really, really cool.
It's still kind of jarring to see stuff that's clearly not Disney or family friendly be on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'm on Disney Plus and there's like The Omen. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Yeah, The Exorcist. I'm like, I don't think this is supposed to be on Disney.
No. Kid comes up, Mom and Dad, can I watch this new Disney movie, The Exorcist? No. No, you can't.
Ooh, Captain Howdy is the new Disney princess.
It's just like whenever Deadpool and Wolverine comes out on Disney Plus, the fact that they use the F word so many times
Yeah.
in that, and there's so much blood and violence, that it's going to be on the Disney platform.
But speaking of Halloween and horror and all that good stuff, this is pretty much, I think this is probably our favorite time of year. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and those that might be newer to the show, in years past, we don't just do like a Halloween episode, but we dedicate the whole month of October to Halloween. Like we'll review horror themed video games. We usually do some kind of round table about like a franchise or a specific movie. But with this year, we're doing a top 5 spooky movies for Halloween.
Yeah, we don't do too much stuff where we just sit around and talk about movies. We usually do that on Derek's podcast, where we do round tables and things like that. We don't really get, break too far from the video games and stuff here, other than our commentary tracks where we, for our patrons every month, we'll do a commentary track for retro movies and things of that nature. But we don't really have a dedicated episode where we talk about movies. So that we figured this year, why not do that for the top 5 Halloween movies? And I'm excited to get to it.
Yeah, same here. I've been looking forward to this since we decided on it last week. And you mentioning discussing movies on my podcast, that reminds me, after the show, I got an idea to pitch you and Wally and Joey.
Okay.
I'll send it in our group chat afterwards.
I like that, Raven, in the chat room. He says month-a-ween. We should just change
Ooh,
it.
That's good.
The whole month.
Month-a-ween. Yeah. Love it.
But if you're ready, we can go ahead and start our top 5s. We're going to start off with me and Derek first, and then we'll go into yours that you sent us. A lot of people on the Discord sent us their lists. And Derek, would you like to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go first. So those that, again, might be newer to the show and we do these top 5 lists, we also include like honorable mentions. This was pretty difficult because I had a list of like 20 movies
I did too.
that I narrowed down to 10 because I'm like, I can't have 15 or 20 honorable mentions, it'll take up half the episode. So these are my honorable mentions, ones that just missed out on making the top 5. Because I don't know about you, but usually like 4 and 5 are the hardest spots to decide. Because like usually 1 and 2, I know those pretty easy. 3 through 5 can be a little dicey. So I think any of these that I'm going to list could easily make a top 5. My first honorable mention is Halloween 2018. This is one that I'm not very big on, like, remakes, but Hollywood has been doing the legacy sequel thing for a while now. And when I read about the approach they were going to take with this movie, with ignoring the sequels, you know, like 40-something years has passed since the original 1978 Halloween, and Jamie Lee Curtis was coming back, I'm like, okay, this might work. And I think it did a very good job of bringing Michael Myers into the modern audience. It still had that feel of a Halloween movie, but more current, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I really like Halloween 2018. I mean, I love that movie, but man, they just really fumbled the ball by the time they got to Halloween Ends. Like, that movie was not good.
No, that I didn't include that on my list.
But Halloween 2018 is great.
Yeah, that trilogy had a great start to it, and yeah, the sequels weren't as good, but I don't think it takes away from how good Halloween 2018 was.
Yeah.
My next one is a classic, A Nightmare on Elm Street. We actually did a roundtable discussion about this a while back on the show. What I love about, and Freddy Krueger might be my favorite horror villain, because he can attack you when you're supposed to be in your safest space, when you're asleep. And like us as humans, we have to sleep. Like at some point we're going to have to do it. But then like you don't want to, because this deformed creature thing is going to attack you.
I still have that. I still have my clips.
Up yours with a twirling lawnmower.
Hey, up yours with a twirling lawnmower.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but I should post that on Facebook to see if anybody gets it. Let's see. Chuck Armstrong talking about the Winnie the Pooh horror movies. I haven't seen the sequel yet. That first one was bad.
I haven't seen either one of those. I did watch the first Terrifier movie the other night. Well, actually, it took me two nights to watch it because it was a lot. You know, I love atmospheric horror movies. I'm not big on gore. And oh man, that Terrifier movie's kind of gory.
Yeah, I feel like anybody can do gore. That's why like it's not as big a deal to me.
Yeah.
Because that's easy. Like if you can make something that's more cerebral, that's where you really capture the art of horror.
Yeah.
But Nightmare on Elm Street is a classic, and it's one that I make it a point to revisit every year. Like with a lot of those.
It's still
absolutely
effective.
You know that movie's less than an hour and a half?
I know. It's like an hour and 20 minutes long.
Yeah, it flies by quick.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great classic horror film. I might get flack for this, but I enjoy Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
I know that Freddy especially got pretty campy there towards the end of Robert Englund's run, but just seeing those two on screen together was so cool.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, it's not as bad as some of those sequels. The Nightmare and Friday the 13th.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad sequels in there, but I like Freddy vs. Jason too. And honestly, I wish they would have made Freddy vs. Jason versus Ash. That was a real thing that was going to happen.
That would have been amazing.
I mean, Bruce Campbell could still do it. Just do it while he's, before he's decrepit. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, Bruce Campbell's still going, so why not? And then for my last two honorable mentions, these are two of my spoopy references. One is a childhood favorite of mine, Casper. Casper the Friendly Ghost. Huge movie back when I was a kid with Bill Pullman as the dad. I think it was Christina Ricci was the lead actress, and that movie was made in the '90s. And you see how good the ghost effects look.
And Dan Aykroyd returning
Oh,
as Ray
yeah.
Stantz.
They did the Ghostbusters thing. We were actually watching that on TV a few nights ago, and I looked at Samantha and I said, "I can't believe they got away with doing that." Because Ghostbusters is such a respected property that I felt like they made a little bit of a mockery of it.
Yeah.
But it was still a really cool cameo. And then my last honorable mention is Halloween Town. I wasn't introduced to that movie until Samantha and I started dating. It was a childhood favorite of hers, and it's one that we watch every year. And it has Judith Hoag, the original April
Yeah.
O'Neil.
I like that movie. I don't care what anybody says. I like it. It's
Yeah.
spoopy. It's not spooky. It's spoopy.
Yeah. And then moving into my actual top 5, my number 5 is Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. I won't go too much into detail because I know this is one of your favorite movies ever. So I'll just say I am not one of the haters. I actually think it is a good horror film. And you got to look at what they were wanting to accomplish with the Halloween franchise back then.
I mean, he didn't even. We've talked about it before. He didn't even want to do Halloween 2. He was forced into doing Halloween 2. By the time they got to Halloween 3, he wanted to do an anthology series, which would have been awesome if they would have kept going. But for some reason, people are like, we want to see Michael Myers. Well, if you watch the end of 2, he's pretty definitively dead at the end of that movie. But no, everybody had to complain, and then we didn't get any more cool Halloween, anthology movies.
And then one would argue we didn't get a good Michael Myers movie until 2018.
Yeah, it took, 40 years to get another good movie.
Yeah. My number 4 is Evil Dead 2, one of the greatest horror films ever made. It's pretty much the same as Evil Dead 1, but immensely better.
Yeah.
If you want an example of why Bruce Campbell is held in such high regard and why we love him so much, watch Evil Dead 2. It combines everything from the horror elements to some comedy, some campy stuff, but it all is mixed together so well. And that is why I love Evil Dead 2 so much. My number 3 is Hocus Pocus, my other spoopy choice. It's a cult classic.
Yeah.
It's funny because Samantha was actually watching it as we're doing this podcast because it's on TV. A cool personal story is that 2 years ago, the primary cast members of Hocus Pocus, not the witches, but the ones who played the kids, were at Pensacon, and I got to moderate their panel.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was a lot of fun. And I got to meet what was his name? He was the voice of the cat in Hocus Pocus, but he's also the voice of Max in a Goofy movie.
Oh,
I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but
I don't.
he was part of the panel too. My number 2 is the 1978 Halloween. I feel like this movie comes up every year when we do these Halloween episodes.
Yep.
It's, to me, a perfect horror film. It has everything from the grittiness. It's got a great villain. It has, a sympathetic heroine. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis invented the concept of the final girl.
Yeah.
And you get to see her grow and mature as the movie goes on. And that theme music, man, it is the most iconic piece of Halloween music, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. And I've been corrected here. Angelina says, I love As Above, So Below. That's why we watched it. So.
There we go. Live fact checking here on the Nerd Cave Retro podcast.
She's the fact checker to the fact checker to the fact checker to the fact checker.
We have so many fact checkers.
Get live
I was actually
fact checked
thinking
here.
if Tyler Watson wasn't the fact checker to the fact checker, I would call him the wordsmith.
Yeah.
Because of his, his in-depth explanations, which I love.
Yeah.
Of all the the top 5 suggestions.
I don't know if
whatnot.
he sent us a list this week. I'll have to look.
Oh, Chuck says James Marsden.
Oh yeah.
That's him. Okay, so oh Joey, I was talking about Halloween 1978. But my number one, and it actually watching Halloween led to me watching this movie. And as soon as I saw it, it became my favorite horror movie, and that is the original Scream.
Oh yes.
As a kid of the 90s, I think it captured the 90s spirit perfectly. It reinvented the horror genre. I would argue that the ghost face mask is the most iconic Halloween mask of all time.
Oh, I have one up on
Like-
my wall right now.
Like up there with the Michael Myers mask.
Mhm.
I think the majority of the sequels have been good. I didn't really care for the third one, but all the other ones have been good. Like I thought, if I were to give Scream 1 like a 9, I'd give Scream 2 like an 8 or an 8.5. Like it
Yeah.
was still just as good.
And didn't we wasn't that what we did for last Halloween? Was Scream? Commentary?
We did a commentary for it, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that was fun. I love that movie.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and say it. My idea for Real Wisdom is to do a roundtable on the Scream franchise.
I'm for it. The Legacy sequel's great, dude. I had the soundtrack for 2 back in the day, and that thing lived in my CD player for like 6 months.
Yeah, it even with the music, it captures that time frame perfectly.
Mhm.
So that's my top 5. Scream is
Awesome.
my favorite horror movie of all time, and I'm probably going to save it till a little bit closer to Halloween to really get into the mindset.
Oh, there's some that I have to watch like on Halloween night.
Yeah, that's I got to decide exactly what I'm going to watch on Halloween night, but it'll be good. And yes, Joey, you will be invited to be a part of said roundtable.
Of
I'll
course.
send you guys a text after we're done with the show.
Well, as far as my list goes, I had the same problem. I had like more than 20 movies I wanted to put on this list, but I really had to whittle it down as much as I could. But as far as my honorable mentions go, at the number 1 spot, we have Ghostbusters, which is, it's a good all year round movie. It doesn't have to be Halloween.
That's why I didn't put it on my list.
Yeah. Number 2, The Thing, John Carpenter. I can't wait for that remaster of the video game to come out. I don't know if you guys ever played that. It was a PS2 game, an original Xbox game, and they're doing a remaster of it, and I am so excited to play that game again.
Yeah, I'm going to be picking it up as well.
Let's see. My third honorable mention, They Live, another John Carpenter classic.
Yep.
And of course, the one I have to watch on Halloween night is The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
I didn't even think of Charlie Brown. That's such a good special.
I don't think there's a year that has gone by since I was probably old enough to know what Halloween is that I haven't watched The Great Pumpkin.
Yeah, it's a lot of the Charlie Brown specials are great. Like people will talk about the Christmas one, but the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown might be my favorite.
Absolutely, mine too.
It's really good.
And of course, my last honorable mention, I just watched this like a week or so ago, In the Mouth of Madness, my favorite John Carpenter movie.
It's a good one.
Do you read Sutter Kane? We should commentary that movie. That's what I'm ready to do.
Hey, I'm fine with that. I don't think we've even decided what we're doing for October, have
I
we?
know. So many great lines in that movie. It's just like every paranoid schizophrenic has a they, a them, and it. You want to know about my them. Love that movie. And for my actual list, here we go. At number 5, Night of the Living Dead, the original black and white Night of the Living Dead. That's a Halloween night watch for me. And I own it on almost every platform you can think of. I have like 3 different VHS tapes. I have it on DVD. I have it on Blu-ray. And all ways to watch it are great. However you want to watch it, it's perfect. It's the perfect Halloween movie.
Yeah, it's one of the iconic classics for sure. That black and white one, because like black and white is just so perfect for the horror genre. Like you think of those classic, Universal monster movies like with Frankenstein,
See,
Dracula.
I was going
The
to put all
Mummy.
those on my list too. I'm just like, I can't.
I can't wait for that section of Universal to open with the
no.
classic Universal monsters. It's going to be so good.
That's going to be
I know
awesome.
I know they do the Halloween Horror Nights already, but that could just take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, you want to know something? The Universal monster movies are more of a Christmas time thing to me for some reason, and I don't know why. I like to watch those around Christmas.
That's interesting.
I don't know why.
I mean, I'll say it's because Halloween is your Christmas.
Probably. Yeah. And at number 4, of course, the 1978 classic Halloween, which you talked about a few minutes ago. I can't wait to watch the new DVD that I got that has the the 12 extra minutes that they filmed for the TV version. They're probably not great, but I'm still excited to watch it. And that's a little bit closer to Halloween watch for me. I can't watch it too early in the month.
Well, I think even if the deleted scenes or, extra footage isn't great, you're still like getting to see something new.
Yeah.
And you usually get to see like, okay, I can see why they cut it. But it's still like as a movie buff, it's still really cool to see.
Oh, and Chuck says he just got Creature from the Black Lagoon in 3D. I want to see that.
Oh,
in
wow.
3D. Why did they?
Nice.
They need to put that out in the theater in 3D. I would
Yeah,
go
I mean,
see
why
that
not?
right now. We would end the podcast right now, and I would go straight to the theater to see that in 3D.
Who knows? But that'd be awesome.
Rampage up in the chat room, running a little late tonight.
Rampage.
And at my number 3 spot, of course, Evil Dead 2. Just an absolute classic of comedy, the perfect comedy horror movie. The first movie, Evil Dead, was low budget, more horror, very little comedy in it. Then they went comedy horror with Evil Dead 2 and hit that perfect balance, and then went a little too comedy action with Army of Darkness. Don't get me wrong, I love Army of Darkness, but Evil Dead 2 is still the perfect comedy horror movie.
Did you ever watch Ash versus Evil Dead? The show?
Yeah.
It was good.
That was really good.
Yeah,
That's why I say
enjoyed
they
it.
could still get Bruce Campbell to come back and do Jason versus Freddy versus Ash. They could still do it. He's still able to do it.
Just you got to get Robert Englund to come back as Freddy. I know he's old, but
Yeah.
Freddy's more cerebral anyway.
Yeah. He doesn't have to do much. They could get a stunt double for all the fight scenes.
Yeah.
And at number 2, one of my favorite movies of all time, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Classic.
Yeah. I'm so tempted to get all of the Killer Clown stuff at Spirit Halloween. Dude, they've got like the big popcorn gun now. They have a pie. You can just get a pie. It's Killer Clowns cream pie from the it's just like, it's not real. It's like foam, but it's awesome. And they have the hand puppets. They have the little ray guns. They have so much cool stuff, and I just don't have the money for it. I can't justify, spending like $200. And they have the animatronics too. They have like the big 7-8 foot spike that like laughs and opens up the popcorn bag. I'm like, I just want that. I want that at my house.
It's interesting you bring that up because I feel like this year and maybe last year too, I've seen more Killer Clown stuff around Halloween than I have in years past.
Yeah, because
I don't know why, but at the Spirit Halloween that we have in the mall here, I noticed a decent amount of that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, I guess it's just something that was picked to be like, oh, remember this?
Well, it's
I don't
such
know,
a
but it's still pretty cool.
It's such a strange movie, and I mean, it's so lovable. Like, you can't not like that movie.
I saw Joey's comment: Jason versus Freddy versus Daniel LaRusso.
I would watch that too.
Oh, 100%. The winner would actually be John Kreese.
Yeah.
He would show up and just he'd take out everybody.
And of course, at my number one spot, to the surprise of no one, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. I know I make Joey mad when I say this, but it's my favorite Halloween movie.
Yeah, I mean, what's not to like about it, in my opinion? And what's funny is whenever I was introduced to these movies, you told me to watch this movie first because it had nothing to do with 1 and 2. And I think that was the right way to go. I don't know if I'd feel the same if I watched them in order, but like I was saying earlier, like I know what Halloween 3 was supposed to be and what they were trying to do at the time.
Yeah.
That's why I don't knock it. That, and I think it's actually a good horror film. It's got a great concept. The masks are so memorable.
Mm-hmm.
And who doesn't like, America's sex symbol, Tom Atkins?
Who doesn't love road beers?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing, you're absolutely right, though, because that was the first Halloween movie I ever saw. Because we used to have every Sunday night on the local Fox station when I was a kid, they used to do the Crown Dodge Chrysler Sunday movie. And it was always some weird genre, sci-fi or horror movie. It was on every Sunday night at like 10 o'clock, 9 or 10 o'clock. And this is one that they showed all the time. Halloween 3, Dreamscape, they used to play all the time. I think that's how I saw, what was it? Oh, crap. What's the name of the movie? Night of the Creeps. First time I saw Night of the Creeps was on that. And but yeah, Halloween 3 was the first Halloween movie I ever saw. I didn't see the original Halloween until, early 90s when I was almost in high school. And Halloween 3 they used to play on TV all the time. So that was what I thought Halloween movies were. And so yeah, I mean, I fell in love with that movie when I was a kid. And as I got older, I love the original Halloween. It's one of the greatest, not only horror movies, but just movies ever made, was the original Halloween movie. But there's something about Halloween 3 that I don't care that it's not a Michael Myers movie. It's a Halloween movie. And I don't look at it as, in the canon of the Michael Myers Halloween universe. It's a standalone Halloween movie. And if you look at it through that lens, without, the bias of it doesn't have Michael Myers in it, if you look at it through that lens, it makes it much better.
Do you think that there wouldn't have been as much flack for it if they had dropped the Halloween from the title?
If they would
And
have
it was just called Season of the Witch?
they should have called it Season of the Witch: a Halloween Story is what they should have called it. If they would have done that, I think people would not have hated it at all.
Yeah, and I think if you titled it like that, it would actually make more sense because like Halloween 3 is billing it as a sequel. If you call it Season of the Witch: A Halloween Story, like you look at American Horror Story and how all those seasons are like anthology type deals.
Yeah.
I think it would have been better received that way.
That's just completely where they went wrong. They should have never called it Halloween 3.
Season of the Witch: A Han Solo Adventure.
I'd watch that too.
Hey, I mean, if you want to throw in a surprise cameo by Harrison Ford as Han Solo,
Harrison Ford and Tom Atkins in the same movie, that there's not enough screen for the machismo that would be leaking out of that movie.
Every screening around the world, you just see the testosterone just pouring out of the projector.
But that brings us to the end of our lists. And before we go into your list, Derek, would you like to do our Patreon shout-outs?
As always, we want to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. We want to shout out the fact checker of the Nerd Cave Retro Show, Mr. Wally Phelps, Brian Piotrowski, Nick W., Eld the Zombie, Yup Fed, aka Knife, James, aka at Jimbo Jr. over on our Discord, Raven, Danny House, Justin Nispel, John West, Daniel Salmon, Mr. B-Res Coffee himself, Mike Eveland, the fact checker to the fact checker, Mr. Wordsmith himself, Tyler Watson, Axeblade07, Armez Jackson, Carlos Longoria, aka I am the Rampage,
Rampage.
Staff Sergeant Sketch, Gus and Penny, Matthew Salmon, Mr. Joey Image, and of course,
Mama Diamond.
Donna Diamond. Thank you all so much for your continued contributions, keeping the lights on for us here at the Nerd Cave Retro Podcast. And here's, again, is where you insert the pre-recorded statement of me saying, for as little as $1 a month, you get your own RSS feed, your custom RSS feed with 0 advertisements. If you want to hear just fun banter like this with no interruption, it only costs you $1.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And you get early access to our commentary tracks. This past month, we did something that's been in the works for a while, and I will say it was actually one of my favorites that we've done. We watched and commentated on No Holds Barred,
Yeah,
the Hulk Hogan epic.
You got that right, brother.
I keep ever since we did that commentary track. So this randomly pops in my head. What's that smell?
Dookie.
I don't know why I say it like Vince McMahon instead of Hulk Hogan.
Because
but
we all four of us have a Vince McMahon impression that we were doing through the whole movie.
yeah, I can't imagine what the writing was like between those two.
Lots and lots of cocaine.
Yeah,
And Derek said it. You can get that for as little as $1 a month. And let me tell you something. Yesterday, I washed a load of clothes yesterday. And you know what I found in the pocket of some of my shorts? I found $2 in the pocket. I didn't know I had
$2.
So if you're doing your laundry and you find $2 in your pocket, that's 2 whole months of Nerd Cave Retro Patreon you could throw our way.
Hey, lack of ads and bonus episodes. I mean, what else do you need?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to be a part of our awesome Patreon community, just head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And for new patrons, be sure to send us your social media info, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, so we can give you a proper shout out.
And up first from Facebook, we have Jeff Miller, who says, perfect timing as AMC had the Friday the 13th marathon on. He said, number 5, the Friday the 13th series. I like that.
Yeah, I'm not as knowledgeable about Friday the 13th as, say, like Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street. Maybe I'll do that this year, because I haven't watched a good bit of those movies in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't either. Number 4, the Alien series. Number 3, Saw, the Saw series. I'm not a big fan of the Saw movies. I don't really like them all that much.
The first one was all right.
Yeah,
I kind of fell off of it after that.
I'm just not a gore person. Number 2, the Grudge series. And number 1, the Insidious series. And he says, for a real psychological bender, check out The Platform 1 and 2 on Netflix. Lots of reading due to subtitles, but it's worth it. Another notable mention is Life with Ryan Reynolds from 2017. I did like The Platform. I watched the first one when it came out a few years ago on Netflix, and it is subtitled because I think it was made in Brazil or something like that. But if you haven't seen it, it's excellent. And I just saw that they had a part 2 had just dropped, so I'm going to watch that really soon.
I haven't watched The Platform yet. And I know about the Ryan Reynolds movie that he's talking about. I haven't watched it either, but I have heard good things about it. Let's see. Moving on to our Discord. Let's see. We'll start with Mr. Joey Image. Top 5 Halloween type movies, scary or not, in no particular order. We'll start with his honorable mentions: the original Scream, They Live, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, our first
Yeah.
tomato reference of the show, and one of your favorites, the original Gremlins.
Nope.
That was just no.
Nope.
Nope. Moving on to his actual list, it's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, Pinocchio's Revenge. He's mentioned that to us a couple of
I
times.
know. We need to watch
yeah.
that.
Yeah, this is the year that I'm going to watch it. The original Ghostbusters, Beetlejuice, and the original Halloween.
Yeah.
That's a really good list.
See, I wanted to put Beetlejuice on my list too, but that was part of the other, 20 I had on my list.
Yeah, I haven't watched the original Beetlejuice in like 15 years.
It's so good.
I want to see the new one. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, I haven't either. Up next, we have Nick W. On the Discord. Says, my top 5 spooky movies to get me in the mood for Halloween. And his honorable mentions are Ernest Scared Stupid. Yes, it's a dumb flick, but it's very entertaining. I think I saw that a few times on these lists, the Ernest movies.
Ernest Scared Stupid might be the best one. That one and Ernest Goes to Jail are my two favorites.
See, I don't think I saw those.
They're funny. They're dumb movies, but they're supposed to be. Like, they're hilarious.
Let's see. It says 5. At number 5, Bob's Burgers Halloween episodes. I highly recommend those. Number 4, The Devil's Rejects.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes. Number 2, The Shining, the original.
That was on my initial list.
Yeah, The
I love
Shining's
that
good.
movie.
And Dr. Sleep is good, too.
I still need to watch that.
Oh, dude, you got to watch that. It's excellent. And at his number 1, Halloween 1978. Good man.
I'm glad that he also brought up the Treehouse of Horror episodes, because there's some
Yeah.
really good ones in there. My favorite one I remember watching was when Homer is either Homer or both Homer and Bart get caught in some kind of like transdimensional portal, but it ends with Homer getting sucked into the real world.
Yeah.
And it's like this, 90s CG. And it's like he's still yellow and everything, and he's walking around freaking out. Everybody
Yeah.
around him is freaking out. It was just like so surreal
Yeah.
to see. But that's always the one that I think of when I think of The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Mr. Brandon Rutledge. His honorable mentions are Beetlejuice, It's Showtime, Dawn of the Dead, both original and remake. Both have great action and insane amount of zombies. I like that he put both.
Yeah.
Hotel Transylvania, fun family flick, some of Adam Sandler's best work in the past 15 plus years. The Nightmare Before Christmas, just the first 20 minutes.
Before we
And-
go on, I do want to say, if you haven't seen it yet, Hubie Halloween, the Adam Sandler movie on Netflix, is really good too. It's a good Halloween movie to watch.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. And his last honorable mention is Young Frankenstein. He says, putting it on the Ritz. Very funny and quotable. I haven't seen Young Frankenstein in a long time.
Love that
I need
movie.
to change that. Number 5, tie between first 2 Ghostbusters. Definitely can't choose between these two, like choosing my favorite NCR host, which is Wally. LOL. He's most everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
So. Number 4, Night of the Living Dead, the original model of creating a great zombie film. It created this atmosphere of dread and the need of survival. I don't disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Halloween Town, one of the better Disney Channel original films. The location of Halloween Town gives the spirit of Halloween without oversaturation. Number 2, it's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, absolute classic filled with memorable moments. I Gotta Rock. And number 1, Hotel Transylvania 2. There is so much right about this film. Makes me laugh hysterically every time. A great spin on the classic horror movie monsters and commentary on living with each other's differences.
And
like
there's been some really good animated films that are Halloween centric too. The last, decade or so. Like Paranorman's really good. Monster House is really good.
Yeah, I think the animated section doesn't get enough love.
Yeah. I wanted to put some of those on mine, but man, like there should have been a top 50, top 50
Yeah.
Halloween movies.
That'd be like a 3-hour spectacular.
Yeah, we'd have to do like three 1-hour segments and just spread
Yeah.
them out through the month. And up next we have Knife, who at number 5, Halloween. Number 4, Halloween Town. I'm a Disney kid at heart. Number 3, Insidious. Number 2, See No Evil. Is that the one with Kane?
That is.
Yeah.
That makes me happy to see somebody put that on this.
Yeah.
It's actually not a bad horror movie.
I haven't seen it. I just know
out of
Kane's
all
in
the
it.
out of all the WWE films, it's one of the better ones.
They don't say Dookie in anywhere, do they?
No, this is a much better made and produced movie than No Holds Barred was.
Maybe No Holds Barred should have been on our list for great, scary Halloween movies.
If we're going that route, then the original Super Mario Brothers would have been my number one.
Yeah. And that is number 1 spot, The Purge. Also, The Purge TV show that was on USA Network.
Love the concept of The Purge.
You know what? I've never seen any of the Purge movies.
I've seen the first one, but I haven't seen any of the sequels. Oh, Joey says, I just saw it for the first time like 6 months ago. It's actually not horrendous. See No Evil is really not a bad movie. Like
Might have to
it
put
seems
that
like a
one-
legit horror movie.
Might have to put that one on the list for this month.
Yeah. Next up, we have Raven Ghostpaw. Number 5, Little Shop of Horrors. I'm just mean green mother from outer space. Number 4, The Addams Family.
Yeah.
3, I love the Addams Family movies from the 90s.
Me too.
Number 3, Nightmare Before Christmas. 2, Ghostbusters 1 and 2. And number 1, Beetlejuice, and also says Michael Keaton is the GOAT.
And I like that people are giving Ghostbusters 2 some love. Because Ghostbusters 2 is a good movie. I don't care
It
what
is a good
anybody
movie.
says.
It fell into the trap that a lot of sequels did. When the original movie is so like groundbreaking and good, like you can't really top it. But Ghostbusters 2 does a good job of being like, it's a good movie. I really like it.
I mean, Ernie Hudson has the funniest line in that whole movie when the ghost train, they're like, "Did you get the number of that train?" He's like, "Nope, missed it." And up next, we have I Am the Rampage. And his honorable mentions are Halloween, Night of the Living Dead, Good Man, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, Halloween Town, and Zombieland. First
Zombieland is so good.
I didn't even think of Zombieland.
I love Zombieland.
But Halloween Town getting a lot of love on these lists.
Yeah, that's good to see.
It is number 5, Nightmare Before Christmas. I was going to put that on my list, but honestly, that's more of a Christmas movie for me. I don't really watch it at Halloween. I watch it at Christmas.
Yeah.
Number 4, Beetlejuice. Number 3, here we go, Hubie Halloween. See, somebody else knows that movie's good too.
Yep.
Number 2, Hocus Pocus. And number 1, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with Ghostbusters being number 1.
Oh, yeah.
It's everything from that movie, from the acting, one of the best scripts ever written, great soundtrack, memorable theme song. Wally has said it multiple times. It's a perfect movie.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I can't find any fault with it.
It is a horror movie with comedy. It along with Evil Dead 2, I think Ghostbusters is the perfect horror comedy movie.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, Chuck in the chat room. I completely forgot about Shaun of the Dead and Tucker and
Yeah.
Dale. Tucker and
I did
Dale
too.
versus Evil is another one of those perfect horror comedy movies. If you've
Yep.
not seen Tucker and Dale, please stop what you're doing. Stop the podcast. Go watch Tucker and Dale right now.
And then come back and finish the podcast.
Yeah, then come back and finish the podcast.
No, Tucker and Dale is good. Yeah, I didn't even think of Shaun of the Dead,
Yeah.
but Shaun of the Dead's great.
So good. See, there's just so many good horror movies out there. It's like it's hard to whittle it down.
Yeah. Our last list comes from Mr. Justin Nispel. His number 5 is Halloween. 4, Puppet Master. I'm a little surprised this hasn't been mentioned until now, but number 3, Child's Play.
Dude. Have you seen the Chucky series that was on Sci-Fi?
No, but I've heard it's good.
It's so good. And they just revealed the other day that it got canceled. So no season 4. And that makes me sad because that's so good.
See, when shows get canceled, I feel like the studios should let the creators know so they can wrap up
Yeah.
the stories in a proper way.
And they could have wrapped up that 3rd season. If they would have known, they could have wrapped it up with a nice tight bow. But because I guess they thought they were going to get a season 4, they kind of left it open a little bit to continue the story. And now they're canceled. I'm like, well, they better get some movies out of this.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, all the horror franchises get revived eventually, so
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see Chucky again.
I hope so.
Number 2, Goosebumps, all the old TV movies. I'm not going to lie, when I was a kid, those books scared me. Like, I would read a couple because, I didn't become a horror fan until like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
All that stuff used to scare me, and those books did too. Because I remember seeing them at like the book fair,
Yeah.
at school. When I would go to bookstores, I'd see them, and they would the covers would scare me.
Yeah, I was a
But
little
they're
too
pretty
old
good.
for the Goosebumps when it came out, but I have an appreciation for it.
Did you ever see the Goosebumps movie with Jack Black?
Yeah, I
As
like
R.L.
that
Stein?
movie.
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I liked
Absolutely
it.
brilliant.
That actually should probably end up on the list here.
And number 1, Ernest Scared Stupid.
A lot of
Love
Ernest
it.
love tonight too.
Yeah, I dig it.
But yeah,
I dig the Ernest love.
I like that Halloween Town got a lot of love. I like that Ghostbusters 2 was getting some love on these lists tonight. So there's no shortage of good movies on these lists to go watch this Halloween season.
No, there's so many, and even like some of the ones we didn't mention. But if you go on like Shudder or other streaming services, you'll discover some pretty nice hidden gems
I'm going to say this.
in the horror
Shudder
genre.
is the one app that I have and pay for that I do not regret paying for every single month. Shudder's great.
How much is it?
It's like $5.99 a month.
Oh wow, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, and you get they have a whole every month. There's a whole fresh batch of movies they put up. They've got all kind of cool original series, like they got the new Creepshow series that's on there. They have the documentary series, like the 100 scariest movie moments on there. That's really good. They've got Joe Bob, the last
Drive-In.
Yeah, Last Drive-In that comes on like every other Friday. It's worth the $5.99 a month. And I've not regretted one minute of having that app.
Well, when you look at how much like Disney Plus and Netflix and all the other ones have skyrocketed in prices, $5.99 is like a bargain.
Yeah. Yeah, and Chuck said he was watching Friday the 13th before he was 10. Yeah, I did too, and it's probably why I am the way I am. And Rampage
Raven
said,
Ghost. Go ahead.
sorry. Rampage says, my fiance says to tell y'all she still doesn't watch horror because her anxiety came built in and she doesn't need TV to help with that.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Raven Ghostpaw says that Goosebumps scared him too. So
Yeah, I was going to
Glad I'm
point
not
that out
alone.
for you. You're not alone, Derek. So Goosebumps scared you. Gremlins scared me. So, Wally can defend Gremlins all he wants. So, but if I ever get to meet Steven Spielberg in real life, I'm going to punch him in the sack for Gremlins.
I remember years ago you posted like you found a Gremlin statue, and you gave it the old number one,
Yeah.
as they would call it around here, and it make I think of that picture when I think of Gremlins. I don't think of the movie. I think of that picture you posted.
Yeah, as soon as I took that picture, I sent it to you and Wally. Every time I see a gremlin figure or something, I have to take a picture with me giving it the old 70s bird, and and send you guys a picture of it.
That's good stuff.
But yeah, I agree. Rampage, Hubie Halloween is a lot of silly fun. So if you haven't seen that, that's worth watching. If you like good, silly Adam Sandler comedies, but it's it's Halloween based. So I recommend it. I like silly Adam Sandler stuff.
I'll add it to my list.
But that's going to bring us to the end of this Halloween special episode, and we are going to take next week off. So Derek, you're going to be out of town, correct?
So next week I'll actually be working an indoor concert series that doesn't start until like 7 at night. So I'll be working fairly late. So it won't be till November when I'm out of town.
So, okay. Well, anyway, we won't be here next week because Derek's going to be working. And I'm just going to take the night off and get caught up on everything that I want to be reviewing over the next month or so. And the next, I am going to review Warhammer 40K. What's it called? Bolt Gun. I am going to be reviewing that, which I was going to review that next, but I got to what I thought was the end of the game, and it kept going. So I don't know how much more I have of that game left to do, so I'm going to push that a little further along. And the next review, which is not next week, but the week after, we're taking next week off. When we come back, I'll be doing Porky Pig's Haunted Holiday for the Super Nintendo.
I've never heard of this game, but I'm excited to watch some gameplay of it.
I didn't either. I've never heard of this game until I just stumbled across it and was like, what is this? And this will make a perfect Halloween game to review for this month.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm still not sure what I'm going to review later on this month, but I've got a couple of ideas. But by the time we do our next show, I'll have decided.
All right. But anyway, what's going on with the Real Wisdom podcast?
Yeah, so released episode 10 this past Thursday. Can't believe I'm already at 10 episodes, but I got to talk with an actress and entrepreneur named Andy Page, who recently joined the show General Hospital, which is the longest running show in history.
That show's still on?
Yep.
What?
It's on season like 62.
Good Lord. I didn't know that soap operas were still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah, a lot of them are still around. Huh. And the cool thing about her is that she grew up in a small town just outside of Mobile, Alabama.
Really?
Which is kind of the, I guess, the halfway point between where you and I live.
Yeah.
Yeah, she grew up like right outside of Mobile. So we exchanged some stories about, what it was like growing up around here. She talks about moving to New York at 17 and eventually getting into, inventing products. And now in her 50s, she's acting, which is
awesome.
A pretty incredible story. So you can go check that out at linktree.com/realwisdompod. That's REEL Wisdom Pod.
Go check out the Open Micers podcast at Open Micers, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, openmicers.com. Last week, we talked with actor, musician Colin Feol, who has been in some horror movies recently, and also he's a musician. He's got a couple of bands that he plays with, and he's also has a degree in cryptozoology. So we had a really fun conversation on the last episode, so please go check out the Open Micers podcast.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to listen yet, but I'm excited too. That sounds like a really fun episode.
That was so fun, and we're gonna have him back on again soon because he was really interesting to talk to. And so is that about it? Is that everything for this week?
I think so. This was really fun.
Yeah,
this
it
is
was.
this was a really, really great episode to do.
I mean, talking about horror movie, talking about movies in general, I could sit here for literally like 5 hours and just talk about all the horror movies that I love, but we can't. We got an hour.
Which we've done really good on time, actually.
Yeah, and thank you all for hanging out with us in the chat room.
Yeah,
And,
love it.
Yeah, if you let me go ahead and play our music here. If you want to follow us on everything, just go to nerdcaveretro.com. That's our link tree. That takes you to all the socials, all the ways to give us money, and it's our Patreon on there and our Discord. If you want to join the Discord community, it's all right there at nerdcaveretro.com. Of course, our merch shop is ncrmerch.com. Got all kind of cool stuff over there. We got t-shirts, hats, magnets, bags, mugs, whatever your nerdy little heart desires. And also, you can't do that. Can't give us $1 a month. I understand. Times are tough. But if you can't do that, can't give us $1 a month, go leave us a review wherever you listen to the show. Leave a review or a 5-star rating, or both. Whatever option you have there on your little podcatcher that you're listening to us on. And also, we love you guys. And happy Halloween. And Derek, please tell them what it's all about.
Up yours with a twirling lawnmower.
Yeah. Oh, I can't find it. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Here it is.
Hey, up yours with a twirling.
Why is it so low? I got to go back and redo those. Hold on. Let me play it again.
Hey, up yours with a twirling lawnmower.
Yeah, I remember when I captured those the first time. It was like really low.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go back and recapture that one of these days, so I can just pop it whenever I feel like it.
You should get the end of Halloween 3 when Tom Atkins is yelling, "Stop it!"
Oh, I do. Let me see if I have anything else here. I know I got a whole Halloween. I got Halloween, but no Halloween 3 stuff. What is it? Oh, wait.
I saw something that night. I don't know, your father...
Oh, wait, I do have it. Hold on.
No, I can't prove it. You've got to believe me. Believe me. Take it off the air now, please. You've got to. It makes
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween.
Please excuse the interruption. We're having technical problems. Please stand by.
It's time. It's time.
We are
Time for the big
experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Frog masks, gather round your TV set. Put on your masks and watch. All witches, all skeletons, all jack-o'-lanterns.
The third
Gather
commercial,
round
it's
and
still...
watch.
Please,
Watch
take
the
off the
magic
third channel.
pumpkin.
The third channel, it's still running. Stop it, please. For God's sake, please stop it. There's no more time. You've got to... Please, stop it. Stop it now. Turn it off. Turn it off. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
I love it.
Yeah.
That was a long clip. I didn't know it was that long. I thought it was just to stop it.
Yeah. I was thinking that that they leave the movie open-ended, even though I personally think he failed.
Oh yeah.
In the book, it actually describes like all the kids dying. And I'm like, maybe it's good that they didn't put that in the movie.
Yeah. And I would definitely watch a sequel to that movie.
Halloween 3.5.
Yeah, I would watch it. Joey says, enough is enough. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us, and happy Halloween. And remember, we're not going to be here next week, so just take the week off and relax and watch some horror movies.
Or you can go back and listen to some episodes of the show that maybe you missed out on.
Yeah.
We got plenty in the archives.
But thank you all for hanging out with us, and we'll see you all next week.